What you see here is the latest from Mahindra, the TUV 300. And when I had first heard about this project, I thought Mahindra is getting into the business of making battle tanks rather than cars, because the name TUV 300 sounds like the name of a battle tank. And now that I have met the Mahindra guys, I know that the inspiration for this car actually came from a battle tank. They wanted something which is tough, which will go anywhere, and of course practical. And the brief for this car was just this. So the first letter of the name TUV stands for tough. And the 300 is of course the series, just like the XUV 500. The TUV 300 sits on a new platform, although it shares the engine and some of the components with other Mahindra products. But the positioning as well as the design is new, and with the launch of the TUV 300, the company plans to target a new segment in the Indian market. One look at this TUV 300 and you know that she is an unmistakable part of the Mahindra family. And when I say this, I do not necessarily mean this in a very complimentary sort of a way, because Mahindra vehicles have ranged from being downright ugly to just about acceptable. But having said this, I must say that this TUV 300 here is easily the best looking Mahindra on Indian roads. She still looks a bit boxy and a bit overdone in the macho sort of a way, but overall if you look at the proportions, she fills in quite nicely and looks quite nice when she's on the move. In fact, you would not complain too much in terms of the proportions. The good part is that she measures in at just under 4 meters, which in turn means that she is eligible for tax subsidies, which again means that she should be reasonably priced. So it's time to see what kind of fill she offers and the space inside. Although there are lots of hatchbacks as well as sedans which have been literally cut short to comply with the sub 4 meter regulation and to make them more price competitive. However, the SUV segment, which is now rapidly growing, has hardly any attractive products in this category. So the TUV 300 does stand a chance of catching the fancy of all those who don't want a big size or a huge price tag. And this is where the TUV 300 might have a big advantage. If the brief of the designers of this car was to make this car a practical car, then I must say they have adequately succeeded. Because the moment you step inside here, you see that you will never be short of storage space here. There's a bottle holder here, there's space for a bottle holder here, plenty of cubby holes, a scooped out fascia here for keeping your knickknacks. There's a 12-volt socket here and over here too. The glove box is big. So if you are on a long drive with this car, then you will never be short of storage space. Even the seat has under-seat storing. And you have things like this armrest, which you will not see in any car in this segment. So overall, this car should be really comfortable to use on a long drive. To add to the practicality factor, the TUV 300 also comes with 2 extra seats, which actually look better than just a bare jump seat to make it into a 7-seater. But the good part is that the mid and the top end will also come with foldable rear seats to enhance the luggage carrying capacity from 400 liters to 720 liters. And this should really come in handy while moving houses. The second thing I like about the interiors of this car is that she is now offering something which is one step above what you can expect in a Mahindra car priced at this range. She gives you pretty much everything, including the aesthetics. The dual-tone fascia looks quite good, the seats are tastefully done, but mind you, you'll not get a dual-tone fascia in the base trim. But overall, she has everything, including a display. The engine that you are going to get in this TUV 300 is pretty much the same engine that you get in other Mahindra products. It's the same 1.5-litre common rail diesel engine. Of course, as to be expected for a new car, it has been retuned, remapped and of course worked on. And the main area where it has been worked on is in terms of reducing the weight and reducing the friction. The result is increased fuel efficiency. In this TUV 300, you get a nice fuel efficiency of over 18 kilometers to a litre. And this is something which is bound to help a small compact SUV like this TUV 300, because in this segment buyers are really conscious about the fuel consumption and keeping the cost down. And this should be a big USP for the engine here and for this car as well. But where this TUV 300 has lost out is in terms of the power as well as the torque output. You only get 230 Newton meters and you get a measly 84 brake horsepower. And I think most drivers here will find this a little underpowered. It doesn't really have the grunt that you'd expect from a common rail diesel engine, and especially the engines that Mahindra have been making so far. In fact, it feels a bit sluggish, and if you are into the business of getting to the 100-kilometer mark in the fastest time possible, I'm sure you're going to be disappointed. But having said this, I must also say that the engine here is quite well behaved. Firstly, you do not notice a big turbo lag. The power delivery is quite linear, but of course, being a diesel engine, it peaks off around the 4,500 RPM. So you will have to keep on changing the gears, especially if you are caught in city traffic. But Mahindra has a solution for that as well. They are going to offer you a 5-speed automatic manual transmission, or the AMT, which should solve the hassle of frequent gear changing and make life much more easy, especially in our crowded city conditions. And this, I think, is a very good option which Mahindra is offering their customers. What I drive in this car here is, of course, the 5-speed manual gearbox. No complaints about that. Slots in quite well, small short throws, but of course it will not give you the convenience of an AMT box. The TUV 300 rides on 15-inch wheels, and you will get alloys on the top trims, and for the front suspension uses double wishbones. While as for the rear, it uses a multi-link setup with stabilizer bars to give it the stability it needs around corners. And the TUV 300 does grip the road well and corners quite confidently. And as far as the ride and handling goes, I think this car is quite sorted out. Of course, many of you will find it being a little stiffer, especially if you hit the potholes, but then keep in mind she is designed like a Jeep, not like a premium sedan. So you are bound to get somewhat of the potholes coming into your cabin and jarring you a bit, especially if you're on a bad stretch of road. But I think the good part is that she comes with ample ground clearance of 190 millimeters, which should enable you to go pretty much anywhere. But the bad side is that she doesn't come with a 4-wheel drive. The company at this point has no plans to offer you a 4x4. The TUV 300 will also come with an Eco Drive mode, which will help in terms of increasing the fuel efficiency during city driving cycle, and armed with micro-hybrid technology will switch off the engine during idling, and the 2-stage turbocharger also helps to cut down on the turbo lag. The instrumentation here is a bit cluttered, it's really tight, but then she's a small car and the amount of information they have put here on this display is actually quite a lot for a car like this. So overall, what you will find in this car is convenience and practicality, and all this blended very nicely with aesthetics. The steering wheel does come with multifunction buttons, but what you will not get is a leather-wrapped steering even on the top variant. And in terms of the infotainment system, it does offer you quite a bit, as you can sync it with your smartphone. Right in the beginning, I said that the TUV 300 looks like an unmistakable member of the Mahindra family. And in case you were about to forget that after having got inside the car, you'll remember it the moment you see the electric power window switches here. It's completely eccentric positioning of these switches here. You don't find them here on the door pod, but here you find it in this place, and it's a bit inconvenient. You have to actually look for it. It's not very ergonomic, but then it's very Mahindra. But what really makes me happy is the attention paid to safety. So much so that even the base variant will give you an option to buy the car with dual airbags. And that's something which is indeed very welcome. The top end will also get ABS and EBD. The TUV 300, however funny that name sounds, is a car which I feel will add great value to the Mahindra range of cars here. as well as to all the buyers who are looking for a compact SUV, because she does manage to tick most of the boxes. She has enough space. In terms of the feature list, she's quite impressive. The only area where she falls short is in terms of drivability, because the engine is somewhat underpowered. But then if you're not too much of a keen driver, I think you will be okay with that. So overall, the package really works. The TUV 300 will be sold in 7 variants, and the prices start at rupees 6.9 lakhs and goes all the way to rupees 9.12 lakhs ex-showroom Delhi, which we feel is a bit steep considering the fact that the TUV 300 is a compact sub-4 meter SUV. But the good part is that the company will offer you 3 years 100,000 kilometer warranty to ensure your peace of mind. And this is something which even some of the top-end luxury car manufacturers are not offering.